the honourable member from Cardston-Siksika.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is an honour to rise today and deliver my maiden speech, a response to the throne speech. But before I do, I'd like to congratulate Mr. Speaker on his election as Deputy Chair of Committees. I certainly watched with anticipation and excitement through your election, and very grateful that you, sir, are here in this chamber with us today. I rise today in the spirit of gratitude to deliver this speech. I am grateful to the Honourable Lois Mitchell for her continued service to this province of Alberta as Her Majesty's representative and as Lieutenant Governor, and for the eloquent manner in which she delivered the throne speech. I'm also very grateful to the people of Cardston-Siksika, who with a over 70% mandate trusted me with their vote to represent them in this chamber. And with that vote, thrust upon me the yoke of public office and a mantle that I find myself unworthy to bear on my own, but willing and capable with the support of friends, family, and fellow members of caucus. I'm grateful to the best campaign team a political candidate could ever ask for. Always willing to rise to the occasion when called upon, my team, led by the amazing, I emphasize amazing, Stacey Atwood, demonstrated that love and commitment to community will always triumph over fear and division. Mr. Speaker, I'm also grateful for the example set to me by those who honorably served my community within these very walls years before I ever stepped foot in this building. From Little Bow, David Schneider, Barry McFarland, and Ray Speaker. And further to the south, the Honourable Member of Minister of Red Tape Reduction and member from Taber-Warner, Gary Bickman, Paul Hinman, Bryce Jacobs, and if I go further back, if you'll permit me, Jack Adey and John Thompson. Each individual laid their own bricks along the path I walk today. To them, I say thank you. Most importantly, I like to express love and gratitude to my family. To my wife, Nicole, for her unconditional support and patience as she elected to sit next to me in the front seat of this political roller coaster that we got on 5 years ago, and who knows when we'll ever get off. Love you, babe. To my kids, Olive and Atlas, for your hugs and kisses. To my mom and to my dad, who taught me how to work and how to play. To my brothers, David, Jonathan, Daniel, Benjamin, and to my lone sister, but don't feel bad for her, who from a young age taught me patience, teamwork, and unconditional love. I'm also grateful for the get-it-done attitude that built this province, and the men and women across Alberta who personify it each and every day. In particular, I want to tell you about one of these people. To some, just a man, but to me and many others, an absolute hero. His name was Leonard Jack Harker. Jack was born under humble circumstances in southern Alberta in September 1922. Like many other young boys his age, Jack got to work early on a farm, thinning sugar beets in the dry Alberta heat. It was back-breaking labor, make no mistake, but nothing he couldn't handle. Jack eventually started a trucking company with his father, where he worked until the age of 18, at which point he enlisted in Her Majesty's Royal Air Force to fight Hitler's Germany in World War II. Not many people expected much from this small-town southern Alberta boy, but his natural intelligence and charisma landed him in the pilot seat of a Halifax bomber commanded by the 415 Squadron, commanding a crew of 6, flying missions in defense of our freedom. I'm grateful to him and to his crew. After a victory was declared and the war was won, Jack returned home to southern Alberta to resume his place with the family business. But something was obviously missing. The front seat of a sugar beet truck could not compare to the cockpit of an airplane. So Jack left a career running the family business for a life high in the big blue sky where he felt most at home. Though he faced many setbacks along his career as a pilot, Jack's determination and get-it-done attitude eventually led him to the pinnacle of his craft in his career when he became the Director of Flight Training for the Government of Canada. A will to succeed can take you as far as you want, and for Jack, it took him miles above the earth. Not bad for a small-town kid from McGrath, Alberta. Not bad for my grandfather, Leonard Jack Harker. Mr. Speaker, this is the story of Alberta. It is not unique to Jack. He died in 2008, but his example touched the lives of my entire family and countless others around him in the same way that members in this chamber, I'm certain, have been influenced by their own families, their friends, or mentors. Alberta is replete with similar success stories, and they all sound the same. Person has a dream, sets out to accomplish it, overcomes impossible odds and insurmountable obstacles along the way. It's what makes me so proud to be an Albertan. But lately, Mr. Speaker, Alberta's potential has laid dormant. Recently, over 180,000 men and women remained at home each day, unemployed and failing to magnify their potential, for no fault of their own. Truly a heartbreaking state of affairs. In the highly underrated 1993 mob film, A Bronx Tale, local boss Sonny gives the young protagonist Calogero, aka C, and for Hamster, that's spelled Calogero, a profound piece of advice when he simply states, "The saddest thing in life is wasted potential." Well, Mr. Speaker, it's time we embrace the get-it-done attitude that built this province and unleash the full potential of Alberta. What is a province or even a constituency without the people? I would venture to say that Cardston-Siksika is one of the most culturally and economically diverse blocks in Alberta. To the south, small towns like Glenwood, Hillspring, Mountain View, Cardston, and McGrath are populated by members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and some others, predominantly members of that church, whose pioneer ancestors ventured north from Utah generations ago in the face of extreme conditions to southern Alberta in search of economic prosperity and religious freedom, because heaven knows they didn't come for the weather. Further to the center, picture Butte, Iron Springs, Diamond City, and Nobleford were the landing place for Dutch immigrants who began settling in Alberta following the Second World War. A trend that I'm told was a big result of the fond memories of Canadian soldiers who liberated Holland from the Nazis. Since then, thousands of new immigrants have joined their families on Canadian soil, including Johannes van Manen in 1977. Further to the north, agriculture towns like Lomond, Vauxhall, Vulcan, and Arrowwood are populated by some of the hardest working and diligent Albertans that I have ever had the privilege of meeting throughout the course of the campaign and look forward to serving through my tenure in office. My constituency of Cardston-Siksika is also home to two of the largest reserves in Canada. The Kainai Nation, also known as the Blood Tribe, is bordered by the Oldman, St. Mary, and Belly Rivers. The Blood Tribe is home to over 13,000 people, with over 5,000 who live on reserve. The Siksika Nation encompasses the mighty Bow River that runs through the reserve and is home to 7,800 people, with over 4,000 on reserve. Both the Blood and the Siksika Nation are proud members of the Blackfoot Confederacy, and both have overcome the diversity and colonization and generalization trauma as a result of residential schools. They value oral histories and have kept their Blackfoot traditions alive for hundreds of years, traditions I am genuinely excited to learn more about. Many of the Blackfoot people in both the Blood Tribe and Siksika continue to teach the importance of their way of life. They also still active in traditional societies and Sundance celebrations. And the Blackfoot people understand the value of hard work in creating a healthier and prosperous future for their people. Both reserves boast an increasing percentage of post-secondary graduates entering the workforce. Many have found employment in Alberta's industry and continue to support the Alberta economy. The visits I have made to the reserves, I understand that family and communities are the foundation of their culture. And as Siksika reels from the devastating floods of 2013 and the Blood Tribe fights a courageous battle against the opioid crisis, I hope to do my best to represent these two strong nations as their MLA. And what of industry? Cardston-Siksika does over $2 billion annually in farm gate sales, making it one of the largest agriculture producing constituencies in the province. Each day, men and women get up and produce food that feeds our province, feeds the country, and feeds the world. But it doesn't come easily. Farmers are looking to us to reduce the stress and the burden. And it starts with cutting the regulatory burden and working to improve trade negotiations that have left many producers, especially in canola, worried about the future of their operations. Arthur C. Brooks wrote in his book, The Conservative Heart, when Ronald Reagan made his case for the American people, he didn't spend a lot of time talking about what he was fighting against. He spent most of his speech talking about what he was fighting for. I am proud to be part of a government that's fighting for a better Alberta. I'm proud to be part of a government that takes the fiscal, social, and environmental future of this province seriously, with a measured approach to support our job creators and most vital sectors. In the throne speech, the Lieutenant General said, "No economic hardship has ever ruined us. No political enmity has ever defeated us. No natural disaster has ever stopped us. Our success, our resiliency, and our yet untapped potential is a powerful magnet that continues to attract ambitious and talented newcomers from across Canada and across the world." Mr. Speaker, Cardston-Siksika is a proud constituency and one that I am honored to represent. I'm honored to stand in this House among distinguished colleagues to take this province forward in what we believe to be is the right direction. Winston Churchill once said, "You have enemies. Good. It means you stood for something, sometime in your life." Certainly over the course of my tenure in office, I'm certain there'll be those who will not like things that we do, possibly members across the aisle. But understand that it's all of our duties to do what is best for Alberta. On a clear day, living in Cardston, you can see off in the distance Old Chief Mountain. What was once a mountain often climbed by many is now difficult and precarious because of erosion. My grandfather, Paul Schow, spoke of it often, loved to climb it. Similar to Chief Mountain, for the past 4 years, the economy in this province has begun to erode. The United Conservative government is committed to ensuring that we right the ship and get the province back to work, so we can ensure we have a province that is strong and free.